Welcome to 20 Metre Restart Agree to Disagree Rugby League podcast. I'm your host Ra, and on today's show, we talk about the first round and who impressed us the most. Adam Reynolds out for the Bunnies. Warriors, Alex Corvo, Steve Kearney, can they shake it up? Wayne Bennett gets tough on the Broncos. War words between the Sharks and Cowboys. Our round 2 picks, and many more. Listen in, Hoonz, Nick, let's get it on. And welcome back to another 20 Metre Restart Agree to Disagree Rugby League podcast. I'm your host Ra, alongside Nick and Hoonz. What's up, boys?
Good morning.
Morning, Ra.
Round 1 of the NRL Premiership was played during the weekend. Dragons got up 34-12 against the Broncos. The Knights got up 19-18 against the Seagulls. Cowboys 20-14 against the Sharks. West Tigers upset win against the Roosters 10-8. Rabbitohs lost to the Warriors 20-32. Melbourne got up on the Bulldogs 36-18. Panthers got up on the Eels 24-14. And Titans win 30-28 against the Raiders. Here's my question to you, Nick. Which team impressed you the most?
Oh God, hard to say. I think I was probably most impressed by the Warriors. I think they've definitely shown the biggest improvement since last year. Maybe still not, pushing for a premiership, but still just definitely most improved. New outlook on the NRL, it seems, and hopefully see them with that positive outlook in their playing style throughout the whole season.
The team that impressed me the most is actually the Dragons. I thought the Dragons played really well against a Broncos side that was very poor. They didn't look good at all. Like I said last week on the podcast, Broncos had no shot. They had nothing in there that they were going to prove to me that they were going to beat the Dragons. I was right. Sometimes I don't want to brag that I'm right, Nick, but, I was right. They got destroyed too. The Broncos, how do you feel? Must be sucky to know that Hoonz got it right. The halves looked brilliant for the Dragons. They technically and kicking game wise, everything reading the game was really well. But there was the Dragons. It was the Dragons forward pack, man. That forward pack laid the platform. They were there like a 1-2 punch. Paul Vaughan, James Graham. A lot of meters, especially from Paul Vaughan and James Graham. But you could just see the difference in class. Tyson Frizzell, Jack DeBellin. That forward pack is going to be a threat, and I think I underestimated the Dragons as well.
And there you have it. Warriors, Dragons fans, they were impressed with your team in the first round. Moving on, Adam Reynolds out for a month for the Rabbitohs. Hoonz, I'll start with you. Is that a big blow for the Bunnies?
It's a huge blow. In terms of general kicking play and what he brings to the Rabbitohs. They were already without him last year. To lose them again, especially when they lost to the Warriors and when you thought that they would win, it's a big blow. It's a huge blow to the Rabbitohs. And I think that it's going to be hard to replace them. Hopefully that they can. But now they've got to do some more structure changes. But they definitely need... I think that they really need to put GI at fullback and Alex Johnson on the wing or centre or something. And they need a quality half. But who do they have? Robbie Farah to come in? Robbie Farah played for Lebanon in the number 7 jersey and did all right, actually. So is he a good enough replacement? I don't know, man. Adam Reynolds is a huge loss.
Yeah, I think any team losing their halfback is just going to be a massive loss. Especially when you've got such a strong back line, but then no real way of coordinating it. It's going to be so costly to the Rabbitohs just for the next few games. So hopefully they can hold on to a couple of victories, but I really don't see him making a difference at this point.
Rabbitoh fans, let's hope he gets back on that field as soon as possible. Now, moving on to the Warriors. They look really impressive against the Bunnies at Perth Stadium on Saturday. And with their new strength and conditioning coach, they look even fitter. Here's my question to you, Nick. Are they going to shake up the competition this year?
Yeah, Definitely. I think, obviously, as I said, they were the most impressive to me over the weekend. I think Blake Green will make a massive difference to that team. Adam Blair, a new leader in the forward pack, big difference to that team. I see them as a really strong side, especially when, they have been a weak side over the years, but all their home games, they'll win still about 80% of them, unless it's against a really strong team. So, they'll probably be winning even more, 90 to 100% of the home games this season. And as they proved on the weekend, they're a threat away now. So, really, really strong side, and I definitely tip the Warriors for a few upsets this year.
This is our year. Mathematically, this is our year. That's what all Warriors fans say. The thing is that I don't know if they're going to give it a shake-up. They've been saying that ever since they've been in the competition for the last 20-odd years. And they've had strong squads throughout. Maybe let's wait until maybe halfway through the year and see what the Warriors can produce. Because I'm not going to say that they're going to give it a shake-up. I disagree with that. They're not going to give it a good shake-up. They have nothing to back them up. They only won one game. It was impressive. Don't get me wrong. It was impressive. But reality is that the Warriors are that team that always looks great on the outside, but in the inside, it's never great. They like all Warriors fans say, surely our team's going to win this year. This is our year. No, it's not, Warriors fans. Not quite yet. Not quite.
You heard it here, Warriors fans. Hopefully, mathematically, it's your year. Moving on to the Broncos. Wayne Bennett had some harsh words for his team, saying that they were sloppy. Here's my question to you, Hoonz. By that first round performance, are the Broncos going to make the top 8?
After that first performance, based on that first performance, hell no. They don't deserve to be in the top 8 after that performance. I thought it was lackluster. I was right. Their forward pack looks weakened, especially seeing somebody like Herman Esiasi playing for the Knights, Jai Arrow playing for the Titans. All those young guns that the Broncos had last year that catapulted them into the top 4 still, and was very, very strong, very, very talented young players, they've gone. I don't know. I question Wayne Bennett at times. I know that he's one of the best coaches of all time, but the way that they and the management at the Broncos, where they have not paid anybody, they didn't bring in any forward pack, any forwards to the Broncos to strengthen it. They just got Lodge. In my eyes, who cares? Like, Lodge. Okay, I think that they have Sam Tagatese lying around there somewhere. Consistent performer for the Sharks before he moved on. But I think they need someone like him with a little bit of mongrel, where the Sharks mentality was that, where they just grind. They need something to stop what happened on Thursday against the Dragons, last Thursday. So that's my idea, that's my thoughts, and that, no, Broncos won't be there.
I really agree. Based on their first performance, I don't see the Broncos making the top 8. That was absolutely disgraceful from their standards, really. And Wayne Bennett said it was sloppy, but what did he expect putting Thaiday at hooker, or starting Thaiday at hooker, I should say? That was never a smart idea. Any fan of the NRL could have said that's just not a smart idea. So that was a costly move, and I'm not going to blame Sam solely for that. I think it was the entire Broncos team that just didn't show up. And as you said, losing Jai Arrow, losing Herman Esiasi, Adam Blair, you've lost a lot of your forward pack. And they've brought in Matt Lodge, which brings me to another point you spoke on about Wayne Bennett. I think signing someone like Matt Lodge, where, there's been footage released of what he did in America. He's clearly, a bit of a grub, right? I don't want to slander his name, but he's got that nature about him, that mongrel nature about him. And Wayne Bennett's not usually about that. Wayne Bennett usually has a strong culture in his team, especially when, I can't remember what year it was, but he sacked Wally Lewis from the Broncos. Said, no, your attitude's not good enough. And you look at him now, and now he's signing someone with a criminal record. And you sort of think, well, what's happened? That's not the same Wayne Bennett I would have thought back then, the successful one. He seems like a bit of a desperate one at the minute. So, but, he's done us right before. So I'll give him the rest of the season. But yeah, look, really questioning him at the moment.
Broncos fans, do you agree with Hoonz and Nick? Moving on, war of words between the Sharks and the Cowboys. Gavin Cooper came out saying Sharks played a dirty tactic by twisting the knee of Matt Scott. Here's my question to you, Nick. Are the Sharks a dirty side?
Well, when your best forward is Andrew Fafita, yeah, you are. You know, he's proven that he's not really a friendly player, and I mean that's fine. I mean it works for him. You know, you can't criticise him for it. You can't say he's not a good player because he is. He's a strong player in the NRL, strong prop. I see Wade Graham in a similar light. You know, maybe he's not the most clinical or, you know, the most polite player. He's aggressive, but he's still a strong second rower. He's still really strong. You know, so, you know, you can criticise dirty tactics all you want, but it's NRL. You know, what do you really expect? You're playing at a professional level. You're playing against big, strong men, you know, and when you're coming against Matt Scott, Jonathan Thurston, I mean, you've got to do what you've got to do to really hurt that team, don't you? So, I mean, yeah, you can criticise them. They're a bit of a grubby team, but, I mean, so what? If not everyone's getting reported, then they're really not doing that badly.
Wait, so let me get this straight, Nick. So you endorse dirty tactics?
I don't, but, I mean, how many Sharks players are on report now? Or put on report from the weekend? Was there any?
Not yet, or not that I know of.
So, I mean, are you really is Gavin Cooper really going to stand there and say, you know, you're a grubby team, you're a dirty team when, I mean, they're clearly not breaking the rules that badly. You know, just because you're a strong team and you feel a little sort of demeaned, you know, that doesn't mean they're being grubs. That doesn't mean it's a really bad thing. That just means they're being really, really aggressive.
We see that the Sharks, you know, historically, especially in the Paul Gallen era, they like to be grubby. Hands in the face, twisting of the knee. I agree with Gavin Cooper. Matt Scott came out and actually said that he's fine. There's nothing really in it. But I wouldn't put it past the Sharks that they would do dirty tactics like that because they've always done it. They've always done little things that get under other teams' skin. And, you know, I wouldn't go as far as that they intentionally want to hurt the other team, but I definitely think that they do use dirty tactics at times to try and get under the other team's skin, and especially if it's true, if Gavin Cooper said that he's seen that they were trying to twist his knee here and there, and so they can get one over us. You know, I don't endorse anything like that. I think that's just a cheap shot, you know, a cheap shot. And you know what? Screw the Sharks, because when we play them again, we're going to destroy them.
Now it's time for our picks. Unfortunately, we only got 4 out of 8, thanks to my dumb pick and going against the Storm. But let's just move on from that. Anyway, Thursday, 15th of March, Sharks versus Dragons at Southern Cross Group Stadium. Nick, who will win this one?
I'm going to go the Sharks. I think Dragons definitely showed promising signs in the first round. But I think Sharks showed even stronger signs. I mean, playing in North Queensland against a ridiculously strong Cowboys outfit, and to lose by only one converted try, you know, that's a really strong performance. And I think just about any team could have beaten the Broncos by 20 points last week. I don't think that was anything special. So I really see the Sharks coming out on top on this one.
First pick, Nick chose the Sharks to win over the Dragons. On Friday, 16th of March at 5 p.m, Roosters versus Bulldogs at Allianz Stadium. Who wins this one, Hoonz?
Ooh, that's a toughie. That's a tough one because we know that the Bulldogs played the Storm, but it's the Storm. Already clinical, already know their jobs, their roles. But in this game, I'm actually going to go for... I actually truly believe the Bulldogs will beat them. I think the Bulldogs will beat the Roosters at Allianz Stadium. I felt like Kieran Foran was finding his feet. I thought Moses Mbai at fullback was actually quite devastating in open field play. I think there's some things that they need to work on, but their forward pack is very strong as well. So don't put it past the Bulldogs that they will win. My tip, Bulldogs.
And here you have it, Hoonz tipping the Bulldogs. On Saturday, 17th of March, the first game up, Warriors versus Titans at Mount Smart Stadium in New Zealand. Titans look great at the back end, but for this one, I'll be tipping the Warriors. They look really impressive against the Rabbitohs. Isaac Luke just looks fitter, and he looks lethal, and he's on. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, defensively he was strong. It was a bit of his weakness, and Sean Johnson playing on the back of Blake Green. I think the Warriors will definitely have this one. And the second game on Saturday, Panthers versus Rabbitohs at Panthers Stadium. Who do you have for this one, Nick?
I'm going to back the Panthers in. I think the loss of Adam Reynolds is just going to be too costly for the Rabbitohs. I mean, they played with him last game for however long it was, and they still lost. So, without a halfback, I really don't see the Rabbitohs as a threatening side.
And do you have it, guys? Nick picks the Panthers to defeat the Rabbitohs. Now, to our third and last game on Saturday, we have the Storm versus the Tigers at Amy Park Stadium in Melbourne. Hoonz, who do you have for this one?
There's no way that the West Tigers can pull off 2 upsets in 2 weeks. This is the Melbourne Storm at Amy Park. If it was Leichhardt Oval, I would definitely give West Tigers a good shot because for some reason they play really well there, but they're not playing there. They're playing at Amy Park, Melbourne, against the best team in the competition in my eyes for now, the Melbourne Storm. Melbourne Storm wins this one hands down.
And there you have it, guys. Hoonz not doing the same mistake that I made last week and tipping the Storm. On the 18th of March, Sunday, Seagulls versus Eels at the old Brookvale Oval, now known as Lottoland. I'll be tipping the Seagulls for this one. They just lost in Golden Point, so it's not like they got their ass kicked or anything. They still look good. DCE controlling the game for the Seagulls. They have the Trebojevic brothers as well, Jake and Tom, who are excellent players. George Tofor played an excellent game, raked up 239 metres. Marty Tapo and the other forwards. So to me, they'll be too strong for the Eels, especially after the Eels' clunky performance that they had at against the Panthers. Like the first 20 minutes, they were excellent, but in the last 10 to 20 minutes of that first half, they just lost their way, and from then on, they could never recover, especially, lazy defense, soft defense, actually, and how could I go against the Seagulls after that performance? So Seagulls for me. And the last game on Sunday, Raiders versus Knights at Geo Stadium in Canberra. Nick, who do you have for this one?
I'm going to back the Knights in again. I really think they played strong last week. I think the Raiders even when the Raiders were up 14 or 18-0 or something, they still didn't look like a really strong NRL side.
Defensive lapses.
Exactly. So the Knights earned their tries. They earned their points. They played really well. Raiders, on the other hand, didn't.
Look vulnerable.
Exactly.
Yeah, Raiders look very vulnerable.
Yeah, so even though it's at home, I think home games for Canberra really matter towards mid-season. We are more in winter. But this early in the season, I'm going to tip the Knights there.
So, Knight fans, Nick is tipping your team. Can they do it? Can they go for 2 for 2? We'll have to wait and find out. Yes, I did not forget about the game of the round. Broncos versus Cowboys at Suncorp Stadium on Friday the 16th of March. I'll start with you, Nick. Who will win this one?
This hurts. I'm going to go Broncos. And that's not a tip with my head, that's a tip with my heart. I can't go against the Broncos on a Friday night at Suncorp Stadium. That would just destroy me as a Broncos supporter. So, logically, it would be smart to go for the Cowboys, but I am just going to say Broncos. I think they're going to pull out a big win. Feel it.
You mean they're going to try and pull off an upset? They're going to get in there. They're going to try and beat the mighty North Queensland Cowboys. I think we all know that the North Queensland Cowboys is no longer little brother. We know that the Cowboys, for actually probably 7 years straight, has actually done better than the Broncos. So, my tip is obviously the Cowboys. We're going to win easily, I think, this time. Deep down in all the Broncos' hearts, every fan, they know that this year they're more in trouble than they've ever been, I think, in their history. Where, I can't see the Broncos beating the Cowboys. There's no way. Michael Morgan is back. He's back from injury. That just strengthens our lineup. Maybe we get Lachlan Coote back, but I thought Ben Hampton has done an admirable job at fullback. Good luck, Nick, because you guys are going to need it, and I'm going to brag on next week's podcast. But hopefully that little glimmer of hope that the Broncos have doesn't come to fruition at Suncorp, because it is Suncorp. I'll give you that. It is Suncorp, and it's become like it's a bit of a hoodoo for us to win there. We did win last year, but still, I know I sound a bit worried, but with JT, Michael Morgan, Jason Tamalolo, Mascot, Jordan McLean, Gavin Cooper, Ethan Lowe, with our team, we should win easily.
Look, I think at Suncorp Stadium, you are being a little harsh on the Broncos there. I think between the Broncos Cowboys, it's always a close game. And an exception of last year, I think 2015, 2016, it was the home team won by 1 point.
I
in
know
all those games.
I know that, but this year is not like all the previous years. All the previous years, you guys had Justin Hodges, Corey Parker, a fit and healthy Darius Boyd. You had champion players around that paddock for the Broncos. You still had your Adam Blairs, who was a pest, and he always did the little things that the other forwards didn't do in the Broncos. But this year, it's a completely different Broncos side. They just don't have those players anymore. They just don't have champions except Boyd. Boyd can't do it by himself. He needs his forwards to go forward.
Well, I think the battle will be interesting. I think Boyd is... I would put him as a stronger fullback than Coote, and obviously definitely Hampton if Hampton ends up playing.
Yeah, I definitely give that one.
And when you look at the forward pack, you can talk Ethan Lowe, Gavin Cooper, and Jason Tamalolo, but I mean Alex Glenn, Matt Gillette, and Josh Maguire, they're not weak forwards. That's a really strong back row.
I'll say that B grade, because at the end of the day, with Jason Tamalolo as your number 13, and as everyone knows, Cowboys back rows is definitely A, and not to mention Gavin Cooper, Origin player, underrated for a long time, and Ethan Lowe, well, he does his role,
he doesn't play Origin, and Gillette and Maguire do play Origin ahead of Ethan Lowe.
Yeah.
So I think they win that battle. Maguire is just a workhorse. He makes consistent tackles all game. I think he'll be a good matchup for Tamalolo. Not on the offensive side.
Come on.
No, I don't think
it's not even close.
Be making 15, 20-metre hit-ups with 5 men hanging off him. I don't see Maguire doing that. But I do see Maguire making a strong impact defensively, same as Matt Gillette.
Well, they're going to have to, aren't they? They're going to have to make a statement, because after the Dragons' performance and the Dragons steamrolling the Broncos, I think that the Broncos forwards know that they have to aim against a strong, the best in the NRL forward pack.
Yeah. I agree, but McCulloch coming back, he should start at hooker this week. I think that's a big. I think he's a better hooker than Jake Granville, in my opinion. I know it's probably not a popular opinion, but I do see him winning that battle. Thank you, Ra. Thank you.
I think that Jake Granville is completely better. I think he's definitely developed his game into one of the best ruck area hookers, and not only that, I see that our forwards will lay the platform. Does the Broncos actually have the halves to compete with Jonathan Thurston and Michael Morgan? We already won that battle. We already know that. It's not even a contest. But can your forward pack produce or lay a platform and a foundation for your halves? And because we know that the Cowboys are going to do it. We know, and then once we get into field position, we're going to finish it. That's a guarantee, and I believe that it won't even be close. I feel like the Cowboys will be, after the Sharks game, I think they needed a game like that so they can pick it up. They can pick it up. And then in the Broncos game, they know it's a rivalry match and it's a local derby. They don't want to take 10 steps back. They've already made 100 steps forward to try and catch the Broncos in terms of superiority in Queensland. But yeah, it's going to be a good game. Well, we know this. It's going to be agree to disagree for sure.
Definitely. I just wanted to point out, I think you're undermining the Broncos forward pack. I think that forward battle is going to be a lot stronger than what you're putting it up to be. I think in halves, goddamn, JT and Michael Morgan, what chance do Milford and Nicarima have when they're both out of form right now? That's just not even a battle. But I do think the forward pack battle will be a lot more interesting than what you're giving the Broncos credit for.
Yeah, I give Broncos no credit.
And that's what it's all about. Agree to disagree. Who do you have? Broncos or Cowboys? You pick. Thank you very much for listening in to 20 Meter Restart Agree to Disagree. Come and tune in next time. But until then, Ra, Hoonz, and Nick signing off. Later.